Hi, today I'll be showing you the raw Squid distortion pedal. This is a project, an electronics project by Marc Leclair, a guy I used to work with a few years back. We kind of worked on this back and forth between the winter of 2010 into 2011. And when I say we, let me make it clear, he conceived it and he built it. And what I basically did was some research and a little bit of guidance about the physical layout and some of the sonic options. And while I'll take credit for my contribution, let me make sure to say that this project was definitely his from beginning to end, and that for my, I'd say 5% contribution, he was good enough to name it after me and even put my picture on it. So that's a pretty sweet deal. And the picture, if you can see it, this is a squid, which is me, I guess, with huge teeth. And I'm about to wrap my tentacles around an unsuspecting young lady who is none too thrilled to see me coming up behind her and about to bite her head off, as you can imagine. I'm going to spend a few minutes describing the project, and I'll show you some of the electronic guts. I have like the design files and stuff on my computer. I'll make some shots of that. And then I'll demonstrate it. And for those of you who prefer to skip right to the demo, the time will be displayed here on the screen so that you can do that. You can skip all the talk. Be right back. Okay, well, this project went on longer than I thought. I went back through my emails. I think it was like 6 months from beginning to end. This is after we had booted a lot of things around, and I had sent a bunch of pedals down to Mark in the Carolinas there to try out and, you know, see where we were headed. And eventually we kind of settled on a fuzz face type of sound, primarily because I didn't have a pedal that was like a fuzz face, or was indeed a fuzz face. So we found this site called Fuzz Central, which had a lot of information on distortion pedals, and pretty much started to move in that direction, you know, finalizing what we were shooting for and how he would go about it. And here was a really crappy sketch that I made using some utility like Paint or something, I don't know. Basically settling on where we were going to put or where he was going to put the inputs and outputs, because the two options are usually input and output on the right and left sides, or input and output on the top side. And they have different advantages depending on whether you're running multiple pedals side by side. Sometimes it's easier to run a short cable this way. I usually play one pedal at a time, so I figured keep it simple, keep them on the sides there. There's a little more real estate, and I had figured we might have some potentiometers up there, which would crowd the real estate. So I said, yeah, throw them on the sides, that'll work. And here's a view. Mark had completed the layout of the circuit board in Eagle, and he sent me some Gerber output files, and I took a look at them in terms of design rules, making sure it was manufacturable, which is something I pretty much do all day. And it was a very clean design. I made a couple of suggestions, but they were pretty unimportant, and he decided not to bother with them. This is what the top side of the board actually looks like, the blue being the copper, and the green being the solder mask openings, and the red being the holes. And here's the bottom side of the board, which is basically just a big plane. Okay, the last thing before the actual playing demo will be, I'll show you the inside so you can see the board assembly, and I'll swap the battery while I'm in there, because it is a 4-screw backplate, so I don't like to open it up more often than I have to. These pedals here are just shown for scale. This is a Electro Harmonics Germanium Big Muff, pretty big overdrive pedal. This is a delay looper hardwire, and most similar in size, although not in shape, is this little Dan Electro pedal. So just to give you an idea how big the RSD is, it's roughly like one of those Dano pedals. Okay, this should be just about the last thing I do. I'm gonna open her up, show you the board and the wiring, and while I'm in there I'll change the battery. Has a 4-screw back plate on it. And here's the board and the wiring and all. Try to get some light in there. As you can see, it's not a rat's nest, it's not a spaghetti factory, it's neatly wired, even though it's a very small box. Everything's pretty clean. The board sits down on the, it's actually the top part of the pedal, but the bottom as viewed here. But everything's nice and clean. The battery compartment is nice and snug, so that doesn't move around too much. You're not going to snap the wires off. Every once in a while you see a pedal like in the original Fuzz face, or at least the reissue Fuzz face I had a horrendous battery compartment that was just asking to snap the wires. But this is clean and it's ready to go. As soon as I put in a battery, I'll fire up some guitar and some amp with this and see how she sounds. A little lead snippet now with the pedal off, then a little rhythm snippet, then I'll turn the pedal on and you can hear the difference. Turn it on. Rhythm. Rhythm. And now I'll turn the volume down with the pedal still on so you can hear the rhythm again. It cleans up pretty well when you roll the volume off. But it still gives it a little bit of hair, a little bit of overtones. So that was the neck pickup. Let's go to 2 pickups together. And we'll turn it on. And now rhythm with the pedal off. Pedal on. And I keep forgetting. Turn the volume down. And lastly, the bridge pickup, which should sound pretty bright. And now with the pedal. And now we'll run the volume up. I did that a little out of order. Alright, and a little more rhythm. Rhythm with the pedal on. And rhythm with the pedal on with the volume dial down. Finally, let's do the lead pickup, playing some open chord stuff, open string chords, full volume. Alright, now it gets a little sludgy if you leave it on full volume with the pedal, but let's give it a listen. But you can hear it clean up when I turn the volume down a little bit. That's about it. The raw Squid Distortion. So, here it is. The Marc Leclair designed raw Squid Distortion. We pronounced it fit for use around February of 2012 after a couple of tweaks, and I'm happy with it, and I'm especially happy that he chose to name it after me for my little contribution, and he even put my picture on there. It's the little raw squid himself. I think it's quite an incredible likeness. In fact, when I look at it, it's almost like seeing my reflection in a mirror. The Raw Squid Distortion Project. Marc Leclair.